Hey guys, and welcome to the Real DDP blog. Today it is Wednesday, March 17th, and means it's Wrestling Wednesdays. And I'm going to be continuing the feud, which is going to last a while. The Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh, yeah, against Field of Bang DDP. Um, we left you off last week with the interviews that led up to the match. If you didn't see those interviews, go back last week, last Wrestling Wednesday, and check them out. Dylan did a hell of a job editing them all together, and they're really sweet. And Dylan actually edited this video you're going to watch of the match. The match was about, at Spring Stampede, was about 20 minutes, and we got it down to about under 6, so you'll get all the highlights from that. But before I get into that, let's talk about what happened before Spring Stampede, the behind the scenes. I'd worked with Randy a couple of times, and it was always some kind of DQ finish or whatever, and the people were really, they were soft on it, and they didn't pop the way, you really wanted them to. And then the weekend before Randy and I were going to work together, we were in Florence, South Carolina, and Arn Anderson, one of the greatest workers of all time, at that time was an agent for WCW, had come in. He asked Randy what he wanted to do for the finish. And back then, nobody told Randy who was going to win. Randy let you know if he's going to let you beat you or not. So that's why it was like extra big that he actually put me over. So he came in and asked Randy what he wanted to do. And he was putting on his boots. I'll never forget it. He was lacing them up. And he never even really picked his head up. He goes, I think I want to take the cutter. Yeah. And then he went back to lacing up his boots. And Arn looked at me and he was like, whoa, Diamond, do you realize what kind of honor this is? I was like, hell yeah, I do. And we went out there, and Randy pretty much, during house shows, he was pretty light. But that night, he laid some shit in. And then when we got into the finish, and I turned it into a diamond cutter, and bang, place popped huge. But I don't think they really believed it until I laid my arm over him, got the 1, 2, 3, and then the roof exploded. And I think that's the reaction that Randy was looking for, because that's what ignited the feud. Because if you don't beat somebody who means something, and obviously it was like Hogan and Savage through all of the 80s and right up to the mid 90s. It's still Hogan today, but that's a whole nother story. But besides Hall and Nash, Savage would have been like, the hottest, Sting, Luger, Flair, but Savage would have been like right there at the, right under Hulk. And for me to get that win was humongous. And so we go into Spring Stampede, and I still didn't know if I was going over, it was going to be DQ, he's going to beat me. I had no idea. And then they pulled us into the booking room, and then they told me, and I was like, woo, I got like chills. I was like, holy shit, we're really going to do it. And Kim and I got together. We were like, oh, God, this is so unbelievable. So then you'll see an interview that gets cut right before this. I had done my part, and then she came in on the end. And she actually, if you watch the videos, the interviews, she's the angle anyway. And it was pretty intense. The match itself, a little behind the scenes thing. You'll see Savage come off the top rope like he's done so many times with the axe handle. He ended up tearing his Achilles, which is right back here, somewhere right in here. And you would never know it to watch the match, but he actually tore that Achilles, and he kept working through the whole thing, because in our business, it's not checkers, you keep going unless you're like, broke your leg and you can't walk. If not, you still keep going. We all work hurt so much you would never believe it. So we also were the first to actually go into the crowd in the WCW or the WWF. Now, the first people to do it, period, that I know of was was Raven and Sandman and Dreamer. I watched some ECW. I was a big fan of ECW. I love those guys. And I wanted to bring it to WCW. And we also had got into doing a lot of false finishes. And I'd been doing that for a while. But I literally took that from watching Flair and Steamboat years ago when they went on a bunch of false finishes. So this match though was more brawl all over the place in the ring. So really, we were kicking the shit out of each other. And where you see a garbage can, where I pulled it up, that was a prop, but nobody knew it because it was laid out there like it was a garbage can. That's before everybody was hitting people with garbage cans. They said that again. That started in ECW too. So let's give props to where things really happen. But it was a hell of a match. It was intense. It's one of the reasons why it was voted Feud of the Year. And then at the end of the video, when the shit really hits the fan after, I've already got the win, and then when Nash hits the ring, and then Bischoff hits the ring, and Savage has got this glassed over look in his eye. Pretty crazy. So enjoy the match, and if you've tuned in to this video and you're on YouTube and you want to check out the real DDP blogs, just go to www.DAREALDDP.com and subscribe, and you'll get it. And that's it. That's all I got. My inspirational quote of the day is, "No one ever drowned from sweat." Get it? In other words, work your ass off, monkey. That's all I got to say. See ya! Bang! I didn't fix it. It's still going.